Hello, I'm Cassia Faye Hayden. Welcome to my channel. I've been dealing with a lot of stress within the last several months, and way more within the last week, to the point where I haven't been able to sleep. Merlin, I haven't been able to really get anything done. Um, I've just been incredibly sick from stress. Um, it's ridiculous. I mean, I have been getting stuff done, but laundry doesn't really count because it's mostly, waiting on the washer. But anyway, I mean, it needed to be done anyway. Laundry was starting to leave my my hampers and end up on the floor in front of my hampers. So, and I don't mean like it left the hampers. I mean it piled up so much that it didn't fit in my hampers anymore. So, yeah, so it needed to get done, but because I've been trying to focus on the floors instead of my dishes and my laundry. Um, but anyway, so uh that's the only thing I've been able to get done this week because I've been so very stressed since Wednesday. I know I posted a video on Wednesday about being upset and overwhelmed at people, and this wasn't just one person. This was multiple people in one day pressuring me about my house getting clean to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. I mentally just snapped, and I just need time away from people for a while because of it. I can't handle the pressure. Yes, I know it needs done. I have been doing it. It has been getting clean. Slowly, but it's getting clean. So, I mean, harassing me about it doesn't get it clean faster. It just makes it harder for me to get it clean as fast as I'd like, because then I'm stressed and I move slower when I'm stressed because I'm not getting enough sleep. So harassing me about it doesn't help. It makes the situation worse. It makes it take longer for me to get it done. But anyway, I didn't explain everything that upset me to that point last on Wednesday. Um, I pretty much only focused on like multiple people harassing me all in one day. Um, I mean, I've been harassed about it for months now, by people you know, trying to get it done. And not just months, but it's been increasingly worse for the last few months. But like, it's been since I moved in, people have been harassing me about getting my house clean. Um, would you get the fuck off? Off! Come on, guys. I'm doing a video. What are you guys doing? They know better than to do this. I don't know why they're acting like this, but they know better. Now they're acting like I did something to them because I told them to not climb on my tablet or on my camera. They know they're not supposed to climb on my tablet. They know better. But anyway, all of my animals are fully trained, by the way, except for Siren, who is only not fully trained in the fact that I am training him as a service animal and a personal protection animal. There are things that he has not learned yet when it comes to service animal and personal protection. He is learning, but I have only had him for not even a month and a half. It hasn't even been a month and a half. So all of my animals are fully trained, and he's fully trained as a pet. But he's working on being trained as a service dog. So when people assume that he's not trained and that my cats aren't trained, when I'm like, as far as I know, I'm like the only person who can train a cat, apparently. Because every time I talk to somebody about my cats, like, people are all like, oh, Well, you can't train cats. Yes, you can. It's not that hard. All you have to do is treat them with the respect that every human being wants to be treated with. You treat them with human respect, and they will respect you, and then they will therefore listen to you. And for the most part, unless they feel like they're not getting something they need, they will behave. Actually, I do think I know why they're behaving like this, because I think their kibble dish is empty and they want me to make them dinner, which I'll do after this video. But I've been so stressed out that honestly I just need to make this video. So I mean, they've never gone without food ever, so it's not like it's a big deal for them. Normally I have their dinner made before their kibble runs out, but their kibble ran out while I was sleeping. So they hardcore ate half a container of kibble in the middle of the night. I'm not kidding. Normally, they'll have like only the bowl part filled before I go to bed, and it'll still be there in the morning. So I mean, somebody was very clearly very hungry. So obviously they'll get fed, but anyway. So the problem with other people training cats is that they don't understand that you have to treat other human beings with respect. And if you can't treat human beings with respect, then you can't treat an animal with respect. So that's why people can't train cats, because you have to treat them with respect. If you don't treat them with respect, they won't respect you in return, and they will not do anything for you. And actually, when you treat cats with little to no respect, they become vindictive and start punishing you for your lack of respect for them. So it's not that cats can't be trained, it's that people have no respect for other people, let alone animals. So therefore, they can't train their animals because they don't respect other people, let alone their animals. So that's why people struggle to train cats. They are not hard to train at all. They're very easy to train. Dogs are even easier to train because you don't have to treat them with respect. In fact, dogs tend to listen better when you provide one source of punishment. When they do something wrong, they get a form of punishment to teach them not to do the bad thing. And then you don't do this with cats, because cats don't respond to punishment like that. They respond to conversation. Dogs don't respond to conversation because they don't know better. So you use one thing as punishment for when they do something really bad, and then you use one thing for positivity, like when they do something you want them to do, you give them a treat. And they learn that, yeah, that's a good thing. I get rewarded when I do this good thing. So they stop doing the bad things quite so much, and and eventually they stop altogether. But they realize that when they do good things, they are rewarded. So they continue to do the good things because they want that reward. So dogs are incredibly easy to train. Now, since I got Siren, my pastor has continuously told me that dogs are difficult to train. No, they're not. Cats, for other people, are incredibly difficult to train because they don't have respect for animals. So, dogs and cats for me are not difficult to train at all because I know how to train them. I know how they respond to things. Cats respond to conversation, being treated like they're human. Dogs respond to positive and negative reinforcement. It takes time. A dog isn't going to learn everything it needs to know in under a month. I mean, and yeah, it's been just about a little over a month. Because I got him on the 4th of July. It is now, let me check. It is now the 10th. So it's just been slightly over a month, not even a week over a month. So he's getting trained. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. But anyway, and he was already potty trained before I got him. So when he sneaks into the other room and goes to the bathroom, which he has since stopped doing. He did that for like a few days and then he's stopped doing it. But when he goes in there, it's not because he doesn't know where to go to the bathroom. He knows. He's been doing it every single day, 6 or 7 times a day, sometimes even staying outside for a good long time with me while I read, so he has plenty of time to go if he hadn't gone right away. Every day for a month. He stops going outside for a few days, and my pastor starts telling me that I need to start training my pets or get rid of them. And by the way, none of them are pets. None of them. They're not pets. Every single one of them is a service animal. So, one, my cats have been fully trained for the last 6 years. 6 years. 2, my dog has already been potty trained before I even got him and is still being service trained. It takes time. Now, that's not even the reason for this video. It's just that did really upset me because I tried to explain that my animals are trained and she didn't listen. She just kept insisting that they must not be trained, that I must not know what I'm talking about. I must not know what I'm doing. But I have been a breeder for many years and I was raised by breeders. My grandma was a breeder. She did cats and dogs. My mom was a breeder. She did dogs and bunnies. I was a breeder. I kind of focused on cats. I know how to train animals. I know what I'm doing. So, knowing this, because I've told her this multiple times, knowing this, telling me that I don't train my animals, that I don't know how to train my animals, that feels like I'm being told I don't know how to do the job that I've been raised to do my entire life. Something that I was taught to do since childhood. It kind of hurt my feelings. It kind of really upset me. And okay, when I am put in a situation, and I've done this my whole life, and I don't know why, I think it's a PTSD thing, but when I'm put in a situation where I feel like I'm being interrogated or judged or both, I start to stutter. I can't look people in the eye, and I start to sweat. I start to shake. I start to feel dizzy. I can't function. And my stepdad used to use this as an excuse to claim that I must be guilty. So when I reacted this way, which is my normal reaction to being judged and interrogated, or both, he would assume that I had actually done the thing that I was being accused of doing. That's not the case. Unfortunately, that's just how my body responds to accusations. It is what it is. I don't know why. It just is what it is. It's frustrating to me too. And I'm sure that my stepdad is not the only person that assumes that that is a sign of guilt, because I took psychology. I know that that's red flags of guilt. I'm aware of that, but that's how my body reacts to accusations. So, um, but again, my animals training is not why I started doing this video today. It's part of it, but it's not the reason why. Um, so, yeah, that ties into the whole judging me about my house thing. So the reason why I started this video is because when I got to church that day, because this was actually a church function, it's like kind of a, not really a class, but sort of like, because it's like a PowerPoint presentation or whatever, of like women in history that did stuff uh for Lutheran religion. Um and oh, excuse me. And it's really, really incredibly fascinating. But anyway, so when I got there, um the girl who had come over to dog sit for me, who had pulled all of the crazy shit that she pulled, when I got there, she was there. Now, I also have a very interesting way of dealing with people I have to deal with on a on a weekly basis or on a frequent basis, um, that has wronged me. Now, I don't want to deal with confrontation. I mentally can't handle dealing with confrontation because I don't deal with it well. I end up sick, which is why I've been sick all week, ever since Wednesday. So I don't deal well with confrontation. So when I have to deal with someone that's wronged me and I'm trying to get along with them and I'm not over it, I ignore them. I do my very best to be polite, but I do not look them in the eye, and I avoid them as much as I possibly can, because I don't want to deal with whatever reaction they might have to me standing up for myself. Because if I stand up for myself every time, it turns into them attacking me for standing up for myself, either physically or verbally very loud. And this is a church, okay? This is a church. So not only can I not mentally handle that, but at a church, you don't do screaming matches. You don't do verbal assault, okay? It's common sense. You don't verbally assault someone at a church. So me standing up for myself and the result being verbal assault, I don't want that to happen at church. So avoiding eye contact and avoiding the person as much as I possibly physically can within the physical confines of actually being at church, that's my only recourse to not cause drama that should not be happening at church. So I sit down and the girl makes a veiled threat. I can't remember the exact words. I'll actually have to look back at what I sent my friend Lindsay, because I did send her the exact words of what she said. She didn't say it directly to me, but it was very clear it was directed at me. I've got to go back a long ways, because I've been really frustrated this week. That was when I was sick on Sunday. I was dealing with a lot that day. So, where was it? Okay, her exact words were, "You guys know what I'm like in church. Well, when someone pisses me off, they better watch their back." Her exact words. She threatened me basically the minute that I got in there. I was polite. I would not give her eye contact because I didn't want to fight, but I was polite, despite the fact that she pretty much my terrorized me in my own home. She literally terrorized and attempted to murder my cats in front of me. She terrorized my dog. She did things to my dog that I can't even mention online, or I'd be banned from literally all social media. Um, she stole shit. She hid shit in places you would never think to look for things. Now, what kind of person would just hide someone's things from them? That's vindictive. In places you would never think to look. She hid my dirty dishes and claimed that she washed them. Like, out of the dirty water that they were soaking in overnight, and put them back into the cupboards to drip on everything else. I'm still finding dirty dishes all over my house. She stole my underwear. She she tried to move herself in. She literally told me she was going to move in with me and told her roommate she was going to move in with me after I had already told her for an hour straight that she was never going to move in with me, that I don't have room here, and I can't handle roommates. I mean, on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and I'm still finding stuff missing. That when she took my dog to tell my neighbors that he wasn't mine, she the reason for her taking my dog out of my yard was so that he wouldn't be left alone in the house, which was the whole reason for her coming over in the first place, was for her to dog sit so he wouldn't trash my house while I was gone. So she took my dog out of my yard so that she could transport the things that she stole from me out of my house to her house, which is down the road. So the little bitch robbed me while she was supposed to be dog sitting. She tried to kill my cats. In two different ways, she tried to kill my cats. She terrorized them for trying to eat their food and drink their water. She stole my underwear. She did things to my dog I can't even mention. And that normal people don't do these things to animals. Mentally stable people, even the craziest person I've ever met, would not do to my dog what she did to my dog. And I'm the one who's being treated like I did something wrong. So after all the shit she did, and I was as polite as I could possibly be to get her out of my house and even walked her home to make sure she got out of my house. And then after I walked her home, she took my dog away from me into her house. So I had to follow her into her house to get my dog back. And I'm trying to be polite. So I'm sitting there trying to be polite while she's rolling around on her floor with my dog, and she's already taken his leash off and thrown it across her kitchen. Um, I'm trying to get the leash back on the dog, and she's just rolling him away from me and rolling him away from me again. And I'm crippled. Okay? My legs cannot handle chasing someone trying to roll my dog away from me. The only reason I entered her house was to get my dog back that she took into her house away from me, which she should not have taken away from me in the first frickin' place. She should never have ever taken my dog out of my yard, or away from me at church, or away from me while I was walking her home. Every single thing she did since she met my dog, every single thing she did was 100% completely unacceptable. And anyone who has actually heard my story and knows that I'm telling the truth believes that she did these things and agrees that none of it is acceptable. She told her roommate, after I spent an hour telling her that it was never going to happen, that she was going to move in with me. And I'm fairly certain that that's why she went behind my back and decided to get vindictive and accuse me of shit that I did not do, to try to get me in trouble with my pastor. And because somehow she came up with video and photo evidence of what she claimed that I did, which didn't happen, by the way. And I'd love to know whose house she took video and photos of. I'd love to know, because it wasn't mine. I mean, maybe she might have taken photos of my house to put in with the videos and photos that she took. I don't know. Either way, I don't know. But I know that whatever videos and photos she showed my pastor to try to get me in trouble for shit I did not do, they weren't of my house. I can tell you that much. I didn't get to see them, but I can tell you right now, they weren't of my house. So I don't know how long she may or may not have had these videos and photos on her phone, or where she may have gotten them, or if she even took them herself, or what. I don't know any of this. All I know is that it's not of my house, but I'm being accused of it being of my house. And so I'm being accused of shit I didn't do. I'm being threatened with my house being dirtier than it actually is. I'm being accused of making her do things that I did not make her do. All of it is crazy and unacceptable. And because of these videos and pictures that are of my house, that are not of my house, because it's not possible for them to be of my house. My pastor doesn't believe me. And you could see clear as day in her face that she didn't believe me. She had a hostility to her face and her voice that was, it kind of mentally damaged me. I'm not going to lie. Because when someone's already made a judgment about you, whether you're telling them the truth or not, trying to explain the situation, and they refuse to believe you, there's nothing you can do. No matter how hard you try to convince them of the truth, they're not going to believe you. And they're going to keep talking to you and looking at you the way that they do. In a way that is, to me, when I did nothing wrong, abusive. In fact, not only did I not do anything wrong, but everything was done to me. And then I was threatened. And then I was threatened again, because of my house being so dirty that I can't live in it. Okay, so the tile still needs to be cleaned. I still need to wash fly poop off of my fridge. I still need to wash the outside of my tub, the outside of my toilet, But other than that, my house is clean. So, I mean, I don't deal well with being accused of things that I didn't do. Especially when the person who did it, the person who's accusing me of the things that I didn't do, did shit to me that cannot be excused and cannot be forgiven. I mean, I don't know how to deal with this stuff. And then when I tried to explain that it was my brother that has been helping me with my house, um because he actually knows what he's doing, my pastor was all like, "Oh, well, it still needs to be done by a professional." What did I just say? Did I not just say that he is a professional, that he knows what he's doing? I mean, and I know I told her this also. I told her this, I think, the second time I saw her. On the very second time I saw her, I believe. No, it was the first time I saw her, because I had stayed over um on church, on the day of church, for like a Bible study thing, where we were reading this one book, the Red Letter Challenge. So I remember distinctly the day that I met her, I explained this to her. So when the dam in Sanford broke, and then like three different dams that are connected to this river, three different dams broke, it flooded three different counties. So when this happened, my brother offered disaster relief uh, renovations. Sorry. Um, so when that happened, he did hundreds of destroyed homes in way worse conditions than my home was. Way worse. So trying to start shit with me because I had my brother help me with my house, trying to tell me that I didn't have a professional do it, when my brother helped disaster victims renovate their homes from way worse conditions than my home was in, and then telling me that my the thing that was done isn't finished because he didn't do something that she thought needed to be done, that turned out didn't actually need to be done. Not only is she insulting my skills that I was not only raised but actually had a career doing, but she's now insulting my brother's skills of a career that he has, the experience and work that he's done, that I've already told her that he's done. So there's that. But so I'm incredibly frustrated, and with the fact that I was threatened on Wednesday by multiple people about my house, and then threatened again for simply being at the church because someone's butthurt that I won't let her live with me. And then basically threatened again about my home, and harassed and insulted not only about my home but about my smell after I just come in from mopping a poop covered floor where the mop bucket actually spilled on me a couple of times, and then I actually had, I mean, The bucket's a kind of a little bit heavy for me. So when I take it out to dump it, sometimes it spills. So I did spray myself before I left, and I should have changed, but I didn't have time to change. The only reason why I smelled the way I did after having my carpet already taken out and my house on its way to becoming immaculate, the only reason I smelled is because I spilled poopy mop bucket water on myself and I didn't have time to change. So I was insulted about how I smell. I was insulted about my skills. I was insulted about my brother's skills. I was threatened basically to have my PO come look at my house and have it was implied that my house would be condemned because it's not livable. Um and then told that I need to have counseling and that my assessment for mental health services being that I'm too mentally stable to get help, which I didn't know that they could do that. I didn't know that they could deny you based on being too mentally stable. They never did before. Um, so that's news to me that CMH can deny you for being too mentally stable. So apparently it must be a new thing because it was never a thing before. If you wanted mental health help and you went in before, they were required to give it to you. Whether you needed it or not, if you requested it, they were required to give it to you. Now apparently they're not required to do it, which is frustrating to me because I want to get on medication for my ADHD. So, um, yeah. So there's that. Despite the fact that I was fully assessed and told that I'm too mentally stable to get help, because of something that she knows nothing about my home and was shown videos and pictures of I don't know whose home and accused of having um, flea infestation, um, and I don't even know what other bug infestations, but she accused me of having a flea infestation, which I do not have. My house was bombed when I moved in for fleas because I'm very, very on that shit. Because I've lived in a lot of trailers over the years, and every single one I've ever moved into was infested with fleas before I moved in. So the very first thing I did before I moved in was bomb the whole house. Cuz you can't really bomb the house without removing your animals once you've moved in. And you have to cover everything you have or remove certain things because it gets everywhere. It gets into your cupboards, it gets into your animals' food and water dishes. You have to remove those things. You have to remove the animals' food and water dishes because you don't want your pets getting sick from eating their food and water after the bomb goes off in there. So, you want to do it before you get before you move in, before you have to move things out in order to get it done. So, and I'm not going to have my animals sitting outside for 4 hours while the first 2 hours it bombs and the second 2 hours I've got all the doors open and the one window, the two windows that open so that I can air the house out, which because I only have two windows that open, it would probably take more than the extra 2 hours. So I'm not having my cats sit outside in cages while I bomb my house. So common sense, you do it before you move in. And I have witnesses that I did that. One being my brother, one being my boyfriend, because he's the one who had to get me out of the house for a while before before I could go back in and start uh moving things in and cleaning. I actually did both at the same time. It was bad in here. But um like literally there was garbage up to my knees. Garbage and food, rotted food and animal feces up to my knees. I have photos of it. It was disgusting. So while I was moving in, I didn't have time to actually wait to clean the house before moving in. Hi, Spell. So I actually had to do it all at the same time. Thankfully, I have most of my stuff at Sam's house in his sheds, so I didn't really have to move in a whole lot. Um, so it actually kind of worked because I'm still not fully moved in. So I have plenty of room to work around. I can move my furniture and move it back and still get things done, which is why I haven't fully moved in yet, because I want to get everything done inside the house before I move my stuff in. So, um, so I bombed the house before I moved in. And then every week I spray my cats with flea spray. I don't bathe them because they don't like that. I don't do the drops because I can't really afford them. But the Hearts spray on flea spray, it works. It works good. So, so there's that. I also have flea collars on all of them. The flea collars don't work as well as I would like when you have a dog in the house. And I mean, when you don't take, he was about to do something he's not supposed to do. Um, when you have animals in your house that you don't take outside, once you get rid of the fleas and once you have, flea collars on them, you don't really have to worry about them getting fleas again. So it's really not much of it wasn't much of a concern. Um, but I knew I was going to get the dog, and I did have leftover flea spray anyway, because I kind of used it intermittently for when I didn't have the money to replace flea collars. If you're wondering why Spell is bald from the waist down, um I've mentioned this in previous videos. She, being black and it being summer, she had kittens a few months ago that actually were killed by my neighbors trying to break in. It was cold out in the middle of the night when they tried to break in, and the cold killed the kittens because they opened my window and let all my heat out and let all the cold in. Yeah. Well, anyway, the reason for her bald spot, um, when she has babies in the summer, she rips out all her fur because she's too warm. So that's why she's bald from the waist down, because she was too warm, so she ripped out all her hair. It's growing back, but it'll take time. In the winter, if she has babies, she doesn't do that because it's already cold outside. She doesn't feel the need to cool herself down more. But anyway, so I knew I was getting the dog. I had leftover spray anyway. And why not buy more when I need it? So now on top of the flea collars, they also get sprayed not just in between the flea collars, but every single week. And then the dog, he gets flea baths every week, and he just got drops on the back of his neck. I was going to get a flea collar, but the collars were insanely expensive, and I thought I was grabbing a collar when I grabbed the flea drops. It's like one squeeze thing lasts an entire month, and there's three of them in a pack. Even that was pretty expensive, but he needed flea stuff. And I mean, yeah, I intended it to be a collar, but when I got home, I didn't care. It was fleece treatment. It is what it is. Um, it takes care of the fleas, whatever. So, on top of the fact that he has been flea treated with the neck drops, um, he also gets flea shampoo every week. And then he doesn't just get flea shampoo every week. That's not the only bath he takes. I also give him a non-flea bath because you can only give a dog a flea bath once a week. Because if you give them a flea bath more than that, you risk putting too much flea treatment into their skin and they could end up overdosing and they could get incredibly sick. It could cause seizures, it could cause vomiting, they could die from it. So it's very important to only flea treat them a certain amount. So, um, so he gets flea baths every week, but he also gets regular baths with no flea treatment in the shampoo every week as well. Um, so he gets 2 baths a week. Anyway, so and he didn't get his bath this week because on Sunday I was incredibly ill. Which is the day I normally give him his bath. Uh, but so yeah, they and then I've been sick all week after that, after Wednesday because of stress. Because okay, if you guys don't know what fibromyalgia and lupus are like, when you have autoimmunes, and you have stress, the stress makes the autoimmunes attack your body. So it puts you into flares. So, yeah, that's why I've been so sick from stress because my autoimmunes attack me when I'm severely stressed. Um, so, anyway, no, my house is not and has never been, since I moved in, infested with fleas. Yes, when I got Siren, he had fleas. However, within the first 2 weeks, his fleas were gone. So, being harassed for at least 20 minutes about him having fleas, my animals having fleas, my house being infested with fleas, when that has never been the case. I mean, we covered so many subjects in the time that I was there that I was endlessly harassed about to the point where I actually broke when I got home. And like I said, that's not the only situation I was dealing with that day. I was dealing with a multitude of issues that day. I was dealing with other people harassing me about my house. I was dealing with a situation that is kind of incredibly personal um, that I was kind of already broken over to begin with before I went there. And I was actually hoping going there would make my day better because this women in history thing is incredibly fascinating. So, and I like the discussion and I like that they provide food so I don't have to cook that day. It's really nice. So, I was hoping that going there would actually fix all of the stress that I'd been dealing with that day. That I could just go and have a good time and learn some cool new things and go home happy. That's not what happened. And I I pretended that I was okay with everything she said because what are you supposed to do? Sit there and be like, "Oh, well, you treated me like this and this and this at church to your pastor." No. And that's not how I deal with things anyway. How I deal with being mentally and emotionally hurt is to be as polite as possible leave, and then try to deal with it on my own later. Try to recover from it. And try to then, in the future, move on from it. Um, Act like it never happened. Just deal with it on my own. That's how I deal with shit. And venting. So, um, yeah. I mean, I'm not really as upset with my pastor because I think that she thought she was helping, because I think she really thought that my house was as bad as she was told, um by this girl who's trying to start shit because I won't let her move in with me. Um and is mad that I'm mad at her because of all the shit she did to me and my animals and my house. Um I really think she was trying to help. I think she really genuinely thought that all of the things that she has in, and I still think she thinks this, that all of the things she thinks about me and my home and the situation, I think she thinks it's all true. So, um, I genuinely think she was trying to help. I really do. But I tried to explain. I tried to explain that none of it was true, that, um, that the situation is not what she thinks it is. And I tried and I tried and I tried, and she would not listen. She even argued with me for hours, arguing with me about it. 100% convinced that I was not being honest with her and that my situation is way worse than even the girl trying to start shit was telling her. I mean, you could see it in her eyes, you could hear it in her tone, you could see it in her face. Her face was even turning red with anger. I mean, you could tell that she genuinely believed that all of the shit that she thinks is going on in my home is actually going on. And none of it is true. None of it. I mean, yes, my carpet needed torn out. It has since been torn out. My house needed cleaned. It is still not clean yet, but it's getting there. It is by no means anywhere near as bad as that girl implied, or or lied about it being. And it wasn't when she was here. It isn't, and it's even better now. Um, and my house, when it comes to the fleas, there has never been an infestation. Yes, Siren had fleas when I got him. That is not my fault. Just because he came with fleas doesn't mean it's my fault he had fleas. The minute he came, before he even got here, the day that I found out he was on that he was coming and he was on his way, I went straight to the Dollar General on the corner and bought a crap ton of stuff for him to make sure he had food, toys, flea shampoo, all kinds of different things that I knew he would need. Treats for training also. I spent quite a bit of money and overdrafted to make sure that he had what he needed the day that I found out I was getting him. So, and I didn't buy it before that because, I've had situations where I've tried to purchase an animal and they gave me the runaround and it ended up just never happening. Even though they told me it was going to happen, it ended up never happening. Like, there were even some cases where the animal didn't even exist, that they were trying to get me to pay them for an animal that never existed. And I'm like, that's not how this works. They're like, oh, pay us with gift cards. Just buy a whole bunch of gift cards and then send them to us in the mail. And then after we receive these gift cards, then we'll bring you your dog. And I'm like, no. I was raised by breeders. That's not how this works. No, that's not a thing that's going to happen. The only reason why someone would do that is because you can't document gift cards. You can't prove that someone paid you for something with gift cards. You can do it with a money order. You have proof with a money order, which is why if you don't pay with cash or check and then receive a receipt, a lot of breeders will request a money order. Um, So money orders provide proof. They have the little ticket, it's in the system, and now it's even more secure because now when you purchase one, they ask for your phone number, they ask for your address, they ask for your name. So the money order itself has like assigned to it in the system who bought it. So you can't claim that you were not paid for something uh, and then end up having to provide the thing you paid for with a money order. So that's why people don't fall for that crap, okay, guys? If someone tells you that they want you to pay for an animal or any other merchandise or anything at all with money order with gift cards, run. It's a lie. It's not real. Don't do it. Um, if someone tells you just buy a massive amount of gift cards to get whatever they're trying to sell you, don't do it. It's a scam. So you want if you're paying for something and outside of an actual store that takes money order, that takes gift cards, if you're paying for something like that, you want documented proof that you paid for it so that you actually get what you're paying for. So don't ever, ever buy something from somebody else with gift cards. Money orders are fine, they're trackable, they can prove that you bought it. But don't ever use gift cards. Ever. It's a scam. They will never give you what you were trying to buy. Just don't do it. Um Hi Mordred. So, um yeah. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't buy stuff that for him before being confirmed that I was going to get him. Um so I didn't end up with a bunch of stuff that I couldn't use, and then I didn't end up with overdraft that I couldn't afford for something I didn't already have. so so I waited until the day I knew for sure he was coming. Um but I also wanted to make sure that before he got here, I would have at least the majority of the things that he would need. I mean, obviously, I already have cats, so I already had multiple bowls for him. Because I kind of overdo it when it comes to animal dishes because there's no such thing as having too many dishes, in my opinion. Because, um, you know, you can't continuously use the same dish over and over and over and over without washing it for no matter what you're using it for. You have to wash dishes. Even with animals, you have to switch them out for something clean or clean it and put it back. You have to. Or the animal can get sick. And it's just common sense. I mean, if you're not going to wash it and then immediately put it back, you need to have extras so that while it's in the sink to get ready to be washed, they have another one so that they are always using clean dishes. So that's very important to me that my animals always have clean dishes to eat out of. Um, so I always have extras. Um, so because I don't want them to get sick. So I already had stuff like that. I already had leashes because I take my cats outside. And I will not take them out without a leash because of multiple reasons. People have tried to take my animals out of my yard when they got out. And there's these people that go around every year, multiple times a year, for the Humane Society to pick up animals that are strays. And even if they're colored, they will still take them. Even with collars on, they will still take them. And they say that they're just going to fix them and bring them back, but they never bring them back. They literally steal your animals out of your yard and don't bring them back, knowing that they belong to someone because they have a collar. So, um, so I won't let my animals outside without leashes. I mean, if they escape, my ass is trying to chase them down, but I will not let them outside without leashes. So I already had leashes, and since then he has eaten several of my leashes, so I've had to buy new leashes. But I needed to buy kibble, I needed to buy flea shampoo, I needed to buy treats. I had some toys here for him already, but I wanted to buy toys from him for him too. Um, I wanted to make sure he had the things that he needed before he got here. So even before he got here, I was already prepared to flea treat him. Whether he had fleas or not, I didn't know if he had fleas at the time when I bought the flea shampoo. I just knew I didn't want him to get fleas. Because I know that, and dogs have to go outside to go to the bathroom, and I know trailer parks are rampant with fleas. So, common sense, to me, common sense, if you have an animal that has to go outside multiple times a day and you live in a place where the ground is rampant with fleas, you're going to want to flea treat them every week. It's common sense to me. Like, that's one of the first things you buy aside from food and treats is flea treatment. You know, common sense. If you don't want your animal to have fleas, and you don't want fleas in your house, you don't want to end up waking up in the middle of the night covered in fleas and scratching all night. I'm scratching just thinking about it. I think it's a mental thing. I start thinking about people in pain, and I physically feel like a literal shock of pain. Um, but yeah, so I have mental triggers like that because of the fibromyalgia that cause like phantom itches and phantom pain uh because of, like, I see it and people, or I talk about it or I think about it, and like my mind just goes off thinking that it's actually happening. So like, yeah. um I get itchy all the time from that. And this is like a frustration and thinking thing. um yeah, but anyway, so um I don't really blame my pastor because I really genuinely think that she thinks that the situations she's accusing me of being in, and the things that she's accusing me of doing, I think she genuinely believes that it's true. So, um, as hurt as I am by it, I and upset as I am by it, I don't really blame her. Um, I do, however, blame the girl that was here um to dog sit my dog. I'm right here, buddy. I'm right here. Oh, I know why you don't want to come over here, because Spell's over here. You're afraid she's gonna get ya. It's okay, buddy. I know. I'll give you attention in a little bit, okay? Stop, Spell. Stop. He just... Hey! Siren, stop. 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 Spell, come on. He didn't do anything to you. He just wanted attention. Stop it. I'll give you attention in a little bit, okay? All right? I know. I know. I know. It's okay. Come here. It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. It's okay. She's still upset with him over what he did to Simba. He didn't know better. And I mean, ever since then, since we lost Simba and Trinity, he's been incredibly good with them. Like, incredibly good. But, I mean, you can't really blame her for being upset because Simba was her son. It, I don't blame either one of them. She'll get over it in time, and he's just like, I want to be friends, dude. So, I mean, at this point, it's not even him, it's still her. But I get it. I get it. You know, if somebody murdered my kid, I'd be pissed off too. Even if it was an accident, if someone killed my kid on accident, I would still be upset about it. You know, I mean, obviously, how would anybody not be upset about that? It's gonna take her time to get over it. Yeah, he didn't know better. Yeah, it was his fault, but he didn't know better. He'd never been around cats before, so I can't really blame him for it. He's learned since then. He doesn't go after cats anymore. Um, unless they're like attacking him and he doesn't know how to react. He doesn't try to eat them. He's just like, why are you being mean to me? I want to be friends. But of course, she doesn't understand that's what he's trying to do. So she just continues to be mean. I know, buddy. I'm right here. Um, so, I get why she's upset, why she's still being mean to him. It'll just take time. She'll get over it. She'll get she'll get better with him in time. Um, I can see it. Like 3 years from now, they'll be best friends. They'll be snuggled up together. He's already made friends with Merlin and Mordred, and I mean, Albion doesn't quite like him yet, but he's not afraid of him anymore. So the only two that are still afraid of him are Simba's mom and Simba's brother. So they'll get over it. It'll take time, but they'll get over it. Um, but anyway, um, yeah. So I don't blame my pastor for the issues. I do need time away for a while to just deal emotionally with it, but I don't I don't blame her because I genuinely think that she thinks these situations are actually what's going on, and I genuinely think that she was trying to help. Um, but what bothers me is that I came to her for help about this person, about this girl. Um, and then explaining only a few things that she did, only the things that had to do with the animals. And I didn't tell her the thing that she did to Siren because, one, I don't think that's an appropriate thing to mention in church. Two, I don't think it's an appropriate thing to say to a pastor. Three, I feel uncomfortable even talking about it, mentioning it. It makes me sick. It makes me feel dirty. Um, I I don't like thinking about it. After talking about it, after thinking about it, I can't eat for an entire day of how sick this thing she did was to my dog. And she did this while I was home. She claimed she was going to give him a bath, and then she did the thing that she did that I can't mention. And I know that she did it because of the sounds that I heard. Because they're sounds that I know all too well from something that I do when I see Sam alone. when we're not going to the store. And that's as far as I'm going to go with it, because I am not going to give more details, because I don't want my video banned. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. I it's sick. It's really, 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 really sick. I mean, I've met some pretty twisted people in my life, but doing that to a dog? Some people should never be around animals, ever. Um, he was so traumatized after she left that he curled up into a ball when we got home and didn't move for the entire night. He was off for the entire next week, completely and utterly not himself. The day that I went to church after that, the following Sunday after that, he was terrified, terrified for most of the first half, for the first half of the day. Once we got to church, he was terrified, pulling away from everybody, like he thought they were going to do something to him. The whole first half of the day. When service started and he realized that she wasn't going to show up, he started to loosen up and be more himself and be more friendly again. But he was so traumatized by what she did to him that he was a completely different dog. Not only that first day, not only that whole week, but even at service the following week. And what kind of person does that to an animal? What kind of person thinks that way about an animal? What she did to my cats, what she did to my cats was bad enough. Screaming at them, swinging at them, hitting them, picking them up and throwing them at the dog, picking up a knife and swinging that at them, just for trying to eat their food and drink their water. That was bad enough. That was reason enough to call the cops and have her hauled out in handcuffs. That alone. But what she did to my dog, I never thought, I mean, I have been through a lot of shit. I have been through so much crap in my life that I'm not right. I have sexual abuse trauma. I have mental abuse trauma. I have physical abuse trauma. But for a human being to do what she did to my dog while I was in my home, to hear her do it, that is not okay. It is not okay what she did to him. And for her to turn around and act like I did something that I never did and get me in trouble with my pastor to the point where it could cause me to end up homeless. Because I wouldn't let her move in. This girl is sick. She is sick. I'm sorry. I've been trying to hold in the anger and use the anger for the videos and not break down and cry, but you cannot do things like that to an animal. I'm broken from it having been done to me in my life, let alone it happening to my animal, to my dog, my service dog. Yes, I know that it's his job to protect me and it's his job to take care of me, but it's also my job to protect and take care of them. It is my job to make sure that they are safe in my home. And when someone comes into my home and abuses my cats and then does what she did to my dog, when someone comes into my home and does that, and then the whole time they're there terrorizes me like my home isn't my home, so I don't feel safe to tell them to leave. And I have to actually wait for them to be willing to leave on their own and then walk them home to make sure they're gone. And then they're telling people they're going to move in and telling me they're going to move in. When my home is not safe for me, let alone my animals, because someone came into it that was not safe and then terrorized my animals and did something to my dog I can't even mention. I failed them by bringing her into my home. I failed them. And then I asked for help from my pastor to make sure she stays away from Siren. And then she turns around and turns me into the monster. So that my pastor thinks that I'm the bad person, that I'm the one that needs to protect her, that needs to be protected, that she needs to be protected from me. When she's threatening me just for being at the church, just for being there, she's threatening me with bodily harm just for being there. After telling her she can't move in with me, after what she did to my animals and did to my dog, I failed them by letting her be here, by bringing her into my home. I feel bad enough about that. And now, because of her, I no longer feel safe at my church. Because she turned it all around on me. I mean, I kind of feel like not going back, but like ever. That's honestly how I feel. But I don't blame my pastor. She genuinely thinks that what she was told is true. But I don't know. I don't know that I can be around that girl again after what she did to my animals, after what she did, yeah, after what she did to my cats, after what she did to Siren, after turning everything around on me, after threatening me at church. I don't know that I can be around her again. I don't know that it's safe for me to go back. I mean, I want to. I don't, but I do. Right now I feel unsafe to go back for a multitude of reasons, not just because of her, but because of the way my pastor currently views me and my home and my animals. But church is very important to me. My faith is very important to me. I don't want to be driven out because someone I thought I was safe to bring to my home is not safe to have around me at all. But I guess I got to play it by ear, just see what's done about it, see how safe I am. See how it's taken care of to make sure she leaves me alone, leaves my dog alone, stays away from my home. I mean, my pastor can't really do anything about to make her stay away from my home. If she comes after me, she comes after me. And I mean, she already made the threat. There's nothing that my pastor can really do about that. But I don't think I can go back to church if I'm not safe there from her. And right now, I don't feel emotionally safe. So I need a break from church anyway because I don't feel emotionally safe. So Sunday, tomorrow, I'll be doing my devotional video, but I won't be going to church. Because I don't feel physically or emotionally safe to be there. I mean, once I feel emotionally safe to be there, I'll I'll go back and start going again. But and play it by ear. But right now I need space from the church. I need space from kind of most people right now. And I need to take care of me. And to be honest, this kind of spurred me to do something that I've been thinking about doing for many years now. And I'll discuss that further in my devotional video tomorrow. But it's not a spur of the moment thing. It's kind of pushed me into not caring what people think about it. Because the whole reason I haven't done it before now, well, it's not the whole reason, but it's part of the reason. There's actually a lot of reasons why I haven't pursued it before now. Is because of judgment. But I didn't know how people would take it or what people would think of me. I'm not a person that people respect. I'm 4'10". I'm literally the size of a child. I'm legally a midget. I am not a person people respect. Due to my size, due to my disabilities, due to my mental trauma and the effects that it has on my cognitive abilities. I am not somebody that people respect. I am not somebody people treat with respect, that people look up to with respect. So I'm kind of unsure of how people will see me with this decision. And I mean, it's a decision that's been over a decade in the making, since before Avea was even born, before Avea was even conceived, before I even met her mistake of DNA. I mean, I've kind of felt a call to this my whole life. And going through this, feeling unsafe at yet another church, which again, I don't blame my pastor for, um, but feeling unsafe at yet another church, um, and having felt this pull and this call and this need and this passion my whole life, I feel like what people think about it doesn't matter anymore. It's not about what people think anymore. It's about what I need, what I feel like I need to do for me, for others. I need this. So I'll tell you guys more about it in my next video. Um, I know Sam's not going to watch this because he doesn't watch videos of mine that are longer than a half hour. And I'm kind of not ready to tell him about it yet, because last time I broached the subject with him a few months ago, he kind of shot it down, thinking it was silly, because I think he thinks that it's a spur of the moment decision. I think he thinks it's a whimsical ADHD idea. Like I came up with it in a moment. Like I do sometimes do that. I come up with an idea in a moment and get really excited about it, and then you know it doesn't pan out because it's not fully thought through. It's just a spur of the moment thought. Um, I have a lot of fantasies about bettering my life, and he knows this, so he has good reason for thinking that. It's not that he wasn't being supportive. It's that I frequently have grandiose fantasies of having a better life. It's a common thing with me. So, but because he reacted that way with me about it, I'm kind of nervous to talk to him about it, because I don't want him to think that that's what it is. I've been talking about doing this kind of in a way, not really knowing how to go about it, kind of since I was 19. And people I talked to about it actually thought I was joking, because I didn't know that a woman could do this. And I didn't know that you could do it and still have a family. And again, I mean, there's the whole issue um of people not really respecting me because of my size, because of my disabilities, because of my cognitive issues from my trauma. Um, so, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I haven't pursued it before now. And um, back then I would just kind of joke, you know. I mean, I meant it. I genuinely meant it. And back then I didn't have the same religion because I was kind of knocked off my path um, out of frustration with God over the loss of my grandpa, and with um, the way some Christians actually in Midland actually behave. Um, like a lot of there are a lot of Christians that do not practice what they preach, that do not have respect for all people, who judge based on income, based on mental disabilities, based on physical disabilities. Um, there are a lot of Christians in Midland that I want absolutely nothing to do with. And because of that, I went down a completely wrong path, and became pagan for a number of years, because I didn't trust the Christian faith after losing my grandpa from 10 years of prayers begging him to get better and come home, which actually wasn't really God's fault. It was the negligence of the nursing home he was in. Um, I was just hurt and upset and sad because I lost my grandpa, the guy who raised me, um, until Pat came into the picture. Um, but my stepdad is Pat. Um, so, and my grandma raised me. It wasn't just my grandpa or my stepdad. My grandma and my grandpa raised me, and then when we moved here, my grandpa got sick and went into a nursing home, and then it was just my grandma until I turned 12. She got dementia, and I took care of her for 3 years by myself. And then my mom, um, when I was 15, got involved and moved us in with her. And then she and Pat got married, and then they moved us back into my grandma's home, which was at the time still much bigger, but still needed to be bigger than it was in order to uh, house everyone properly. So they built on, and they made my grandma's home their family home. Um, but anyway, so yeah, um, literally from birth up until 15, I lived with my grandma. Um, so anyway, I lost track of what I was talking about. Oh yeah. So um between the um not good Christians in Midland, and you know, feeling betrayed by God because of losing my grandpa, which obviously I'm over. um, I strayed away from the path of God and into paganism. And I still always felt him with me. I still always felt that need, that call, to preach about him. But because I had uh, delved into the wrong religion, I thought that the person I needed to preach for was a completely different deity. So I spent most of my adult years, and most of my well, all of my teen years and most of my adult years, um, kind of being uh, a voice for the wrong religion. I always knew that some deity was calling to me to be that voice for them, but I was doing it for the wrong one. I mean, I had even like joked that um back when I was 19, I joked And this was a continuous joke right up until I met Sam. Hell, even after I met Sam, um, that and I was quite serious about it because I do feel the call. Um, I have always felt the call from the day, uh, from the day, from the time I was a child, being read to in bed from bedtime Bible stories from my grandma up until now. I have always felt God's presence and his need to be his voice my whole life. Um, but I was drawn to the wrong path for too many years. And because of not knowing that a woman could pursue it, or knowing that you can have a family and pursue it, um, and knowing how people view me as a person with absolutely little to no respect at all. um like, I didn't think it was ever something that I could actually do. I thought that that was another whimsical idea of something that I wanted to do, but just was never going to happen, like being a singer, being a designer, a fashion designer, all the other things that I've wanted to do in my life that I just could not pursue because it's just not a feasible thing. Um, so my clip is hurting my head, so I'm taking that down for a moment. Um, it's digging into my head and making my head hurt. Um, so, um, I spent many years joking and quite serious about it, but joking that, um, what are you doing? That I wanted to be a pagan nun. Stop it. Um, Stop it. And I actually genuinely meant it. Um, because I just knew. I just always knew that God wanted me to be his voice. That I needed me to be his voice. So I did it. This week I finally decided, screw what everybody else thinks. Screw how people treat me and how little respect people have for me because of my size and my disabilities and my trauma. Um, I don't care. I don't care. People respect me or not. I don't care. I'm not I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me. So, I enrolled. Yep. I enrolled. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to become a voice for God, a pastor. Now, I don't want to do people's weddings. I don't want to do people's funerals. Um, I don't want to get into that stuff. I don't want to matchmake or any of that stuff. Um, and I'm not going to try to do anything regarding that until I'm certified. And obviously, um, obviously that's going to take time because I need to take the classes. I need to um, earn the degrees and earn the ordination. It's going to take time. So, my devotionals, devotional videos will stay devotional videos until I'm certified. And I'm not, I mean, you can get certified online for this stuff without any training, for just going online and paying for it and then being like, I'm a priest now. That's not the right way to do it. And that's not what I want to do. I don't want to do it that way. I'm not going to do it that way. Because I don't want to do it to have a title. I want to do it because I want to learn. I want to learn everything I need to know. And then once I know everything I need to know, and I'm sure in my experience with learning, you never learn enough. There's never a limit to the learning. Even after you graduate, there's still more to learn. Every subject, there's always more to learn. You are never done learning. So, once I'm certified, then I'll start behaving more like a pastor. But until then, while I'm still going through my classes and all that, and it's, as far as I've read it, I think it takes up to like 3 years, and the courses I'm taking are free and they are in your own time. It might actually take me longer than 3 years to do it. I don't know. But looks like a fly got in when I let Sarah know last this morning. But I don't know. However long it takes is however long it takes. But in the meantime, I'm still going to do, what I'm doing now. The civilian devotional readings and Bible study or whatever. Just because I have a passion now and I'm pursuing that, just because I have a passion and I'm pursuing that passion now, doesn't mean I've already gotten there. Just like training the dog isn't going to be trained overnight. I'm not going to be trained overnight. It takes time. So, I'm not going to jump in and be like, hey, guess what? I signed up, so now I'm a priest now. I'm a pastor now. I'm going to start doing all this pastor stuff and start trying to be a pastor. No. No. That's not how it works. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing now. And then once I'm certified, 3 years from now, I will then start, doing service on Sundays on my YouTube. I will not be looking for a church to run. I will not be creating a church to run. It's all going to be here on YouTube when and only when I am certified. But I mean, I feel like doing it online on my YouTube not only makes me seem still more human, more just one of everybody else, with my Amazon hauls and my fidget hauls and my self-care stuff and my coffee videos and all the different videos I do, on top of doing this for my faith, for me, for God, for everybody who actually decides they want to watch it. Um, just because I'm pursuing that passion doesn't make me any different than the rest of you. I am not better than any of you. I am not in any way, shape, or form any different than the rest of you. All right? We are all made exactly how God wants us. And I am deeply, deeply flawed myself. I may be a good girl, but I am deeply flawed. I say the F word way too much. I mean, I swear a lot in general, but the F word is my favorite word. um, and I have a lot of serious emotional issues. I am not perfect by any means. I have my mental disabilities. I have my emotional disabilities. I have my physical disabilities. Um, I even I have my days where I get pissed off. Like that previous video, I was not pleased. I was not happy. Um, but even I get pissed off. Even I have my moments where I need to sit down and literally take a chill pill. Magnesium. A literal chill pill. And L-theanine. Literal chill pills. Not metaphorical chill pills, literal chill pills. Where I have to sit down, take a chill pill, turn on the TV to distract me, um, and start doing something with my hands and vent for a while and meditate and just get it out of my system so I can deal. You know, even I get mad. Everyone gets mad. Everyone has their days. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes when I'm really frustrated, when I'm really, really, really angry, I'll start yelling in my house to myself, not at anybody else, not outside of my house, but not like screaming, but you know, like venting to myself. Um to me, that seems like a pretty healthy way to deal with things, because then you're getting it out and you're not hurting anybody else in the process. You're just dealing with the emotions. And you know, I don't do that very often. Usually I go with the chill pill and the TV and the meditation and the fidgeting with my hands and you know, distracting myself and getting it and venting and to someone I talk to get it out of me. Um, and then I move on. Um, but you know, when things pile up and 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 I'm at breaking point, eventually sometimes I get to that point where I end up just yelling to myself, venting, for about 10 minutes. And then I get it out of my system and I can move on with my day. Um, but again, no one is immune to anger. No one is immune to feeling hurt. No one is immune to feeling frustrated. No one is immune to fear. No one is immune to physical or emotional pain. Um, I am no better and no different than anybody else. We all have flaws. We all have things that bother and upset us. It's just, you know, how we deal with them. you know. Some people deal with it with violence, which I really don't understand. Because how does hurting someone else make you feel better? That would make me feel worse, honestly. Um, because then I'd feel hurt that I hurt somebody else. Like, how could I hurt someone else? How could I cause somebody else pain or damage, or how could I do that? And and I mean, I'm not saying that there haven't been times when I have accidentally or unintentionally hurt people, not meaning to. Um, there have been times when me and Sam have fought, and I know he was very hurt and very upset with me. I don't even fight with him anymore. When he gets upset with me over something, I just write it out until he feels better, and then we just move on. um, because if I fight back, we both end up hurt, and it's just not, to me, that's not the way to deal with it. To me, understanding what he's dealing with, what he's feeling, and just uh being supportive of it, and just writing it out and waiting it out, and ignoring how I'm feeling about it, uh and dealing with my own emotions about it, uh on my own, while just waiting for him to feel better. To me, that's a better way of dealing with it. Because then nobody else gets hurt, and then he has the time to understand that I'm there for him. I understand how he feels. I'm listening to how he feels, and I support how he feels, and how he feels is 100% valid. And then he can deal with his emotions and move on. Um, and there have been times when I've fought with my parents and with Avea. Now, the way I deal with that is I just avoid them. um, I love them to death, but if I'm upset with them or they're upset with me, I just avoid them until we're over it. Actually, that was Sam just now messaging me. I'm gonna reply back real quick. But anyway, I wanted you guys to understand that I'm not gonna just jump into like thinking I'm a pastor now just because I signed up for courses and start acting like one. Um, and I don't think I'm any different from you guys, and I don't want you guys to think or act like I'm any different from you guys. Just, the same human respect that everybody else deserves. Um, Everyone deserves to be treated with love and respect and be valued like a human being, you know. Everybody deserves that. So, um anyway, I hope you guys like the video. I really needed to get that out. I was really upset, and now that I've gotten it out, I feel a little bit better. Um and um I now feel like I can better deal with the day. Ooh, that is quite a big spider right there. It's now a very dead spider. There's woods a few blocks away from me, so spiders have a tendency to find their way in here on occasion. Um, Especially seeing as how I have a whole window missing. So, um, itchy. Um, anyway, I hope you guys like the video. I hope you guys agree with my decision to become a pastor and pursue that. I'm not trying to get rich off of it.